The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video.
Come on, boys, get loud. 'Cause when the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I'm.
Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana. Welcome to or welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hood's pirate ship. I'm the captain. You are not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why. Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Today's video is actually going to be my panel that I presented a few weekends ago at a convention called blerdcon. It is a convention that is focused on blackness and nerd things, and I was able to host a panel called Josei Deserves Better, where I talk to the audience about what Josei is, educating them on it, and just giving my thoughts and opinions on that. I have recorded the actual presentation. The Q&A section of the panel was not recorded, which I'm kind of thankful for because I just kind of prefer that to be like in person. But I will have the presentation here for you guys to watch. I will shut up now. Now let's get on with today's video. Okay, so
sorry, just checking on the trash stuff because y'all are amazing. Okay. Slide out real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm glad to know that y'all actually have heard of Josei. Okay. Oh, but that's why y'all came. Because some people, they be like, what is that? And I have friends that are like hardcore anime fans. Like, they love Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. I asked them, I was like, y'all know what Josei is? They were like, I never heard of that. And I was like,
They usually not know that.
I read the blurb. I didn't know what it was.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. So what is Josei? To simply put it, it's the manga and anime demographic for women. Pretty simple. Now, according to TVtropes.com, one of my favorite websites, I love to use it all the time when it comes to my YouTube channel because they do a lot like of breakdowns of like racist stereotypes and things like that, and misogyny and all that. TV Tropes is actually a good source. So stay with y'all about TV Tropes. It's actually a good site. It does require a lot of editing though, because some people just get on there and throw anything, but according to TVtropes.com, Josei is the demographic category of manga, anime, and other Japanese entertainment aimed at female audiences ages 18 to 40. Like its peer counterpart seinen, Josei is notable for more realistic, less idolized portrayals of romance and life than in works for young girls. Now, who knows what seinen is? Okay. But if who doesn't know who seinen is, basically the opposite of Josei. It is for adult men. So, okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, these are the type of stories that you are likely to find in Josei. So, realistic workplace stories, like you love you a good office type series where it's just people at work trying to get by. You'll like Josei. If you like Abbott Elementary, it's kind of like those type of vibes over there. Like the office type vibes. Office romances is another big one that's really big with Josei. Main characters are usually women. So if that's something you're looking for, you want more female-led media, Josei is where you go. A lot of mangas are about marriage. A lot of them are about like sexuality, like just trying to learn who you are and all that. And also fantasy is a big contender when it comes to Josei, which isn't surprising because a lot of people that like Josei usually like shoujo when they were little. Y'all know what shoujo is, correct? Yeah, and a lot of shoujo stories are fantasy, and a lot of people were like, okay, I want fantasy, but like for women. So there we go. That's why we have that there. Okay. Now, why do I think Josei deserves better? I have 3 points, and I said they rarely get they rarely get anime adaptations. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get into why it gets worse there. It actually gets worse. rarely get into anime adaptations. They rarely get adapted into English or other languages. A lot of Josei mangas don't get transferred over into English. If you want to read one, but it's not, you have to go on and find a very nice person who made a translation of it. So shout out to those people. They be carrying the backbone for real. They be carrying it. And then the last one is that tons of anime fans have no idea it exists. I bet you go out there and ask any man or male presenting person if they know what Josei is, half of them probably are gonna say no. And that's just the sad truth. Like, no hard shame on them. It's just that's how forgotten it is. And I know we are supposed to get like some new Josei like this year. I haven't checked though. I've been out a little bit on new media. So yeah. Hello. Now, Harrietta, what made you want to talk about this? Well, because I saw a tweet. It always usually starts with a tweet that pisses me off. And that's why I start going. Someone asked for everyone's anime hot take. You know, the hot take Twitter debate. So, and a recurring take I kept seeing was, we need more anime where the main characters are adults. We literally have that. That's what seinen and Josei exists for. It exists for grown folks. Okay? And yes, I also think seinen deserves better just as well. Why did I want to focus more on Josei though? While yes, there is more that can be done about the way we go about seinen and Josei, let's not act like they don't exist. Let's not act like they don't exist, but Josei gets treated significantly worse than seinen. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And this is somebody that has been reading more seinen mangas too. It gets treated a little bit better over there. It's still, shonen literally did a number on anime. We just gonna say that. And I'm not like anti-shonen whatsoever. A lot of my favorite series are shonen. So,
But it's more popularized.
yeah. But I'm like, seinen, Josei gets treated worse. Okay, anime fans who weren't familiar with the demographic can often name a handful of seinen, but they can't necessarily do the same for Josei. Like 3 seinen series I can name off the top of my head are Cowboy Bebop, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Gangsta. And then another one that I can name is it's another Black Lagoon. It's another seinen. And then Crunchyroll is Alone. I found out was seinen too. So yeah, just name 5. And then like it usually those are series that people are familiar with. But like Josei, a lot of these people ain't never heard of none of the stuff that you mean that you actually have to go out and look for it more so. As much as I appreciate shoujo, I want stories about women. Because I be talking about how I was like, I'm kind of tired of this and then the third. And then I'll have somebody recommend me a shoujo manga. Because I remember, I strictly said I would like a magical girl series, but it's like a magical woman. And that's why somebody had recommended this Western animated series called Bee and Puppycat. Because that's basically what that is. It's like a magical girl series, but she's like in her 20s and struggling. And I'm like, yeah, I feel seen. I want more stuff like this. And I was like, I want more, like, you know, magical girl stories. And somebody was like, oh, here's this really good shoujo story. The characters are kids, but don't worry, it's really mature. And I was like, you missed the point. I have to talk about that on my channel where I talk a lot about animation and women. And I'm like, I get that y'all want to share the girl stories, but I'm like, I want stories about women. I want stories about people my age and older. I want stories about 40-year-old women being a magical girl. It's not being the mentor to all the girls going on. Because that's what Aljama Jodorumi was. The older women were there, but they were just kind of like, they were the mentor to the girls and they were side characters and then they went off. No, I want them to be the main characters for once. Like, and don't go back in the past. Oh, this is them when they grew up. No, I want to see them now. But Josei, you want to know how it's so bad? Josei doesn't even have its own section on Crunchyroll. Yeah, there's one for seinen, there's one for shoujo. I'm glad shoujo at least has one. And then there's one for shonen, and shonen's usually at the top. There's nothing there for Josei. None. The lack of attention it gets is why we barely get more of it. Because usually a lot of people just genuinely don't know. And if people don't know about something, how are they going to care about it? Let me say, it's so bad that people only think one Josei exists and that it's Nana. Like, usually that's the only series that they can exist. And technically, if we look a little closer, Nana's actually a shoujo, but I give it a pass for being Josei because those are adults. This is a story about adults. I personally don't think it should have been published in a Josei manga with the material that was in it. But I usually give this one a pass. I'm like, yeah, that's technically Josei. And when numerous other people talk about Josei, they usually put Nana in here too. Because they were like, that's something where I really don't think it was shoujo. Because it has shoujo tropes and all of that. And the author, Aizawa, she's written shoujo mangas before just as well. But it fits more in the Josei demographic. It's way more mature for a lot of the things in shoujo. So,
It's still on hiatus, ain't it?
what you say?
Isn't it still on hiatus? No?
Wait.
Isn't it still on hiatus?
Yeah. Yeah, she's been, about Nana, she got sick. So it has not been updated for a while. People still have hopes that it is. It's one artist. She kind of reminds me of Aizawa. Her name is like Moyoko. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, but I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name.
Yeah, you know exactly. She's married to the man who made Neon Genesis Evangelion. She's married to him, his wife, and I really like a lot of her mangas. And it's one that she written in like the 2000s called Heart of Raga Man, something like that. It's about I can't pronounce it. I be butchering names. And it's about a woman in her 20s that's a workaholic. And I was like, me. So that's part of the reason why I really liked it. She was also a writer too. She put that story on hiatus. It was just announced like 2 weeks ago that she's making a new version. So there is still some hope that Nana might get another one because people were like, wait, if this can get updated, Nana might be able to come back. But I love her. We can talk about her a little later. So I really like her. So I actually have some recommendations for y'all. Yeah, because I was like, if I want y'all to care about Josei, I gotta give you something to go to. So, aggretsuko.
Yeah.
As y'all can see. Yeah. I only recommend seasons 1 through 3. No.
Hater.
Okay, so we all kind of have seen it. I personally, season 3 was my favorite season. I was not the biggest fan of 4 because 4 disappointed me so bad I didn't even watch 5. But seasons 1 through 3, it's very enjoyable. People said it's like The Office, but like with Sanrio characters. So yeah. Next is Michiko and Hatchin. Everyone be like, that black anime girl, that's where she comes from. That's exactly where she comes from. She comes from Michiko and Hatchin. Her name's Michiko Melandro, by the way. It's an anime that takes place in 80s Brazil, like South America. And Michiko is a woman that is very... Listen, there are aspects of this series that did not age well. She can be written to be like very heavily stereotyped, like loud, mean, and then, you know, colorism plays into it too because she's a bit dark skinned, violent, always getting into trouble. But it's even though there are a lot of like those negative stereotypes that are in this series, talking too fast. She is, even though I have my issues with the way Michiko is written at times, it's a well-written story. But she basically is she's running for a man. She out here looking for a man. So in order to try to find him, she basically she didn't even realize she rescued that little girl. She rescues his daughter named Hana. And Hana doesn't like her real name because Hana's had a really hard life. Her dad walked out on her. She was in foster care. Her foster family was very abusive. It wasn't a good thing for her. So she basically like saved her, and they're just on the road together and they're learning to get along with one another. Like they be fighting and bickering and arguing, but they do form a bit of like a bond. It's kind of unhealthy to a certain extent, but it's something, I'll tell you that. It's something, I'll tell you that. We meet so many different people along the way. There are so many black people in this show. Like, and you know, we rarely get that. So they try with Michiko and Hatchin. They try very well. So, like, I appreciate the effort that was put into the series despite there being issues with stereotypes and all of that. But yeah. Next is Life Lessons with Uramichi on this song. No. Okay. So my friends like to say I have really bad taste in men. And like I love that man. I love him. Like I can understand him. I can fix him. But you don't know what Life Lessons with Uramichi on this song is. The note I have down here, and I said it can hit too close to home sometimes. It's about this group of people, they're like in their early 30s and late 20s, and they work on a TV show that is, okay, y'all know Blue's Clues? Yeah. It's like Blue's Clues, and they're all like Steve. And y'all see like the big comfy couch? Yeah, it's like basically like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah, it's lecture company, Read Between the Lions. They are working on like this preschool show. It's very educational based, and there's no weird, gross things with the children. Thank God, I appreciate that. We get to see them working on the series. And it's also interesting because I used to work on a TV show, so I understood a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. Because the episode where they had to go film in the cold, I understood.
It was summer.
Yeah, they had to go film in the cold. It was like it's summertime. I filmed scenes like that before, where it was literally freezing cold outside, and we were all just shivering. But it's supposed to be spring. It's supposed to be warm. Like I've had friends who did pool party scenes when it was literally like 50 degrees, 40 degrees outside. Yeah, it's actually very realistic when it comes to how the film industry operates. It's also realistic when it comes to like how adults are like dealing with their quarter life crisis. Yeah, and also uramichi, he drinks and he smokes a lot. He's also like a retired gymnast. Very unwell. Needs to go to therapy. Yeah, I can talk for a minute about this one right here, but it's really enjoyable. I don't think they're gonna make any more episodes of the anime, but the manga series is still going, and I do recommend it. If you guys want more stories about these people, you actually start to like the people though. Like you're like, oh my god, I finally start to understand this person. Yada yada yada. And uramichi, he could be a little bit much at times. Yeah.
I also want to say for uramichi, if you haven't pre-ordered the art book, definitely pre-order it. I think it comes out like September.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, but part of the reason why I like his character is that even though he's going through it, he actually does care about the children on that show, and he actually does care about the children that watch the series too. So I was like, he's redeemable. He's just unwell mentally. He ain't out here hurting nobody. But yeah. The next one, last one, is a movie called Millennium Actress. And it's a movie about making a movie. Now, if you're familiar with a film called Perfect Blue, the same man, I always mispronounce his name, I'm not even gonna butcher it. He also created Millennium Actress. This was after Perfect Blue. And it's similar in the sense of if you like stories about women in the public eye like me, I love reading a good story about a woman that's like a model or like an actor or a singer and all that. Here she's an actress, and she's basically telling her life story throughout the movie. We see her when she's younger and she gets into acting, and then we see her, this scene right here, I'm not gonna spoil it, but something happens in this scene where she doesn't want to act anymore. But we also find out part of the reason why she wanted to act so much is because there was a guy that she ended up meeting, and she was hoping that if he saw her face in the movies and all that she'd be able to see him again. So I adore this film. Okay, I adore this film. If you like Perfect Blue, I think you'll like this too. But it's not as traumatizing as Perfect Blue. Yeah. This one, Perfect Blue was rated R. This one's rated PG. So drastic difference. It's very beautifully done. And even though this story right here is told by a man, he actually knows how to tell women's stories pretty well. So I was like, I do recommend Millennium Actress. Now, Josei manga recommendations. The first one I have is called Helter Skelter, and it's a realistic horror story, I'd say. Helter Skelter is about a woman named, they call her Ririko or Liliko. I'm going to just say Liliko. She is basically an idol. She's a singer. She's a model. She's a woman in the public eye. That's the reason why I went to it. That's a story about a woman in the public eye. And she has a bit of addiction to plastic surgery. And we see how that's slowly ruining her over time. She sees a lot of other women as competition. We do feel bad for her, but then also at the same time, she's not that good of a person. She's pretty, like I said, somebody who used to work in film and all that, she's pretty realistic to how a lot of those celebrities are. And there's a lot of murders that are going on. There are a lot of murders that are going on in the city, and they're investigating what's going on, and they find out that she's connected to them. She's not killing people, but they find out she's connected to them in some type of way because of some plastic surgery. It's kind of, I'm not trying to sit here and say, it's kind of like a cautionary tale a little bit about plastic surgery, and just fame too, just in general, because we saw how she was a bit of addicted to being fame. But it also, it's a good story about the subject of ageism, because ageism is a big thing when it comes to entertainment, where they're like, if you're over the age of 30, like, let alone like 25, they don't want to see you. They're always going to go out and get like a younger woman. And that's what was going on in the story. She was getting older. I think she ended up lying about her age too. Like, that's a big thing. A lot of women in the public eye lie about their age because people, like, what's the word? They're very discriminatory towards older women. Like, you guys familiar with the actress named Alexa Demi? She's Maddie from Euphoria. I remember she's actually like about 32 or 33. But for the longest, there was this facade going around that she was like in her mid-20s. And she was able to pull it off for so long until somebody went back and was like, we and Alexa went to high school together. This is a 2010 high school yearbook. So, yeah. But yeah, I love Helter Skelter. It's honestly one of my favorite reads this year, like books overall. Hello. Okay, the next one I have is Midnight Secretary. Okay, the note that I have for this one is I blame Miraculous Ladybug for why I like this one so much. Okay, so Midnight Secretary is basically a story about this woman who becomes a secretary for a very notable wealthy man. Turns out that man's a vampire. And then it's just their story along the way. It's a bit of like an office romance type story. Now, they remind me of the main adult couple in Miraculous Ladybug named Gabriel and Natalie. They remind me so much of them. That's the main reason why I read it. That's why someone recommended it to me. But if you just want something that's just like a romance, not too super serious, not like super duper nuanced or anything, and you like vampire stories, I recommend Midnight Secretary. And then the last Josei manga recommendation I have out here is Paradise Kiss. Personally, I recommend the manga over the anime. Now, if you're familiar with Nana, the same woman who made Nana made Paradise Kiss, by the way, she wrote Paradise Kiss before Nana. And Paradise Kiss is actually a sequel to a manga series she had before called Neighborhood Story. And it's about fashion and beauty and all of that. Another story about like a woman in the public eye. So, but she's about 17 years old here. And even though it is a bit of like a high school story, it don't take place in high school for most of the time. We end up meeting a lot of older characters too. And we see how this world has affected them and whatnot. But the main character we have, her name is Yukari. She's a 17-year-old. She is in high school. Okay, this is a note. My friend was actually recording this for me the whole time. She didn't tell me until after the I finished my panel that Yukari was actually 18. This whole time I thought Yukari was 17 years old. That was a mistake on my end. All right, let's get back to this. And she doesn't necessarily know herself. So one day she basically gets kidnapped. She gets kidnapped. People be trying to write it off like, oh no, he saved her. No, he literally, he's like, come here. And he just grabbed her. And she was like, what are we doing? And they're like, yeah, we want you to be our model. She ends up getting taken by these performing art school kids. They're like art school kids. And they attend yazawa. The author basically named the school after herself. I love a good little self-insert. I ain't gonna hold you. But she meets all of these people. She meets Isabella, who's a trans woman. And that's like one of the first times I saw that there was a trans woman in story. I think there could have been things done better with her writing, but that's another story.
I'm sorry.
There's also another character named Miwako, and she is the little sister of a famous fashion designer named Michiko. Michiko's main story is in Neighborhood Story, by the way. That is her story. So that's her little sister. I find it interesting that they made her little sister a side character in the story just as well, but she has her own arc though, so I guess it fits. And then she meets Arashi, who is Miwako's boyfriend. Y'all gonna hate him. No, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't like him. I am a Arashi hater. My Paradise Kiss video I have on my channel, somebody was like, finally somebody that hate him. He's terrible, but I'm not gonna tell y'all what he did. And then we have George. George is like the main one that kidnapped her. And he is just this, he's a character, all right? But he kind of pushes Yukari to become better and to help her think for herself because she doesn't know. She doesn't even know what she wants to do in life. And that's when he like put the idea in her head that, yeah, you might want to get into modeling. You're tall, you're pretty. Why don't you give it a shot? And long story short, she gives it a shot. She really likes this world and everything like that. But we end up meeting a lot of other people that are involved with this world. And she realizes that what she she's scared of what she could turn into, because she also, there's a part where she meets George's mother, and it's like after she had a baby, like after she had George, she gave up on everything. Like she was a model too, and she was doing pretty well. But like after she had her baby, and the man that was like the baby's father, who's trash by the way, has multiple different mistresses, baby mamas, all that. Yeah, he's a character, I tell you. She just kind of like, oh okay, I got this man taking care of me. I have a kid. What's next? So Yukari meets her, and she's just like, I don't want to be like that lady. Okay. But that's just a little bit about their life. How we looking on time? So let me see. Okay, I want to make sure we leave enough space for like questions at the end. Now, these are not Josei, but Josei fans will enjoy, so I'll recommend both on anime and manga. The first one is A Sign of Affection. It's a love story between college love story. The girl is deaf. The guy, I don't know how to describe him. He's the greatest flag ever. He's the greatest flag ever.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I don't know why. People told me that like, you like Peach Girl, you'll like Sign of Affection, but it's not as Peach Girl.
They said
I
that.
would recommend Peach Girl Next in here too. Peach Girl Next is like, you said no.
Oh, I don't see how they're comparable. Sign of Affection and Peach Girl.
I mean,
Peach
like mainly
Girl
because of the
has-
characters. Mainly because of how the characters are. I don't know why it was giving me Peach Girl energy. It just.
Are you talking about Emma? Emma's the only thing relatable to those two.
Yeah, that's why I was giving Peach Girl.
Mm.
Yeah. I do kind of recommend Peach Girl Next though, the series that like takes place after high school when the characters are older, but that's something else. Peach Girl, no, we're not talking about that right now. And then last thing I want to talk about is Gangsta. It is a seinen manga and anime. It's literally one of my favorite of all time. It's about a whole bunch of people that live in this town called Argastalon. Yeah, okay, Argastalon. The main character is Warwick Archangelo, who is my husband forever. He comes before all my husbandos. He's at the top of the roster. Me and him are married. Like, I love him. I've been talking about him so much on my channel. People are like, hey, you really love this man. I do. He's the main character. We find out that he used to be like rich growing up, and he had a very abusive family. And then we end up meeting Nick, who's like his partner in crime, who is also deaf, by the way. So we have like a bit of like disabled representation here too, just as well, because Warwick is also blind in one eye because of an incident that happened with his abusive mother. And then we also meet a woman named Alex, who was a former prostitute, and basically Warwick saved her and is trying to help her. And then it's just, we meet so many different people along the way. We learn more about Argastalon and how a lot of people are like, this city might actually be haunted. What is this mess? It's terrible. We meet different people in the town. We meet a lot of older people. We meet a lot of younger characters. One thing I really like about the girl characters here, like the ones that are like 12 and 13 and 14, they actually act like kids. I appreciate that. Because there is a scene where her name's like Loretta, there's like a club scene, and her family kind of has her the head of the family, and she actually acts like a 14-year-old girl. I was like, that's exactly how I think a 14-year-old kid would act if they were like in charge and had so much responsibilities. There were so many things that she didn't understand, and that makes sense because she was a kid. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I love Gangsta. It's my favorite series. I don't know if we ever gonna get it continue because the author got sick, and also Gangsta is a seinen manga written by a woman. So yeah, it touches on a lot of stuff. If you're very interested in learning more about like, are you guys familiar with a term called whorephobia? Whorephobia? Okay, you have. It's basically about like discrimination towards sex workers and prostitutes and strippers and all of that.
Oh, whorephobia.
Whorephobia.
I didn't say horror.
No! Yeah, Gangsta handles that very well. It shows like all the ugly sides of it. And it's done, like, it's handled pretty well. Like, it's actually showing you that these things are bad, and that they're treating these women terribly, and that just because they are a sex worker doesn't mean they need to be belittled. They're human.
Right.
And that was why I think Josei deserves better. I basically explained everyone what it was, and then in the end I gave some recommendations because I'm like, if I want people to care about Josei, I need to give them some recommendations on what to look for. And then I also gave some recommendations from a shoujo and a seinen. I had a really good time with this. I actually presented this presentation months ago, back in February, but I liked it a lot better this time around. I really liked the crowd a lot better this time, by the way. But yeah, that was my panel. We answered questions for like the remaining like 20 minutes we had left. And yeah, it went very, very well. There were some of you in the audience that watched my channel that came to the panel. Thank you so much for showing up. I deeply appreciate it. And also, by the way, because I know someone might ask this question about how there's only a few people in the room. They gave me my panel at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And when it comes to conventions, on Saturday night, everybody be going out and partying. They be drunk as hell, high as fuck. They just be under the influence. A lot of people don't want to get up early on a Sunday morning, but I still wanted to do the panel at that time. I didn't mind. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on everything. Deeply appreciate that. I'm gonna put my ad in after that, and then the video will be over. But thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.